So I just got done streaming 7 hours of Wuthering Waves, day 1. And let me tell you, it was better than I thought it was going to be. I played the first global closed beta, and there were a number of issues that I had with the game, but those issues were not really present in this version. Now, I will note here, the original version of the game that I played probably about 40 to 50 hours of. Mrs. Stix played about 100 hours of. This one I've only played 7 hours of thus far. So the issues that I had originally might still be present, but from what we've experienced over the course of the last 7 hours, there have been numerous improvements made, numerous enhancements made to the game. Everything about it just feels so much better. The flow of the game, the number of activities in the game. And we're gonna go ahead and discuss my impressions based off of the first 7 hours of the game. This is not a full review. I will have a full review up after I've amassed about 50 to 100 hours in the game, and I feel like I can sufficiently and adequately give a full review based off of experiencing every single aspect of the game I can. Also, before I go any further, I just want to point out Jianshin is absolute mommy waifu. Like, I just got her. She was my guaranteed 5-star, and oh my god, I can't wait to play with her tomorrow. Which, just FYI, I am streaming this on YouTube every day this week, pretty much. Also over on Twitch as well. Coming over and join us there. You can see everything happen live, become a part of history in the making. So let's just get this out of the way first. Yes, Wuthering Waves far exceeded my current or my previous expectations. After having played for roughly 40 to 50 hours, I did not expect them to make the improvements that they did. I thought originally the combat was exceptional. The combat has been improved and feels even better than it did before. The world feels alive. I didn't expect the more vibrant aesthetic to work. I like the more grim, dark, dead, desolate feel it had, but I will admit the new vibrant aesthetic looks so much better. It breathed a whole new level, a whole new layer of life into the game. I think that the game turned out so much more beautiful than I had given it credit for. That it had any right, and this was further enhanced by the incredible character models. There's a lot more character diversity in terms of appearance. Like they have enhanced the characters in all the right ways. They've introduced a few additional characters that look better. Kudo have an issue where they like to make really bland looking, like basic black hair, white hair, red hair characters, and they have very muted colors in terms of their outfits, in terms of their eyes, their hair color, and that was definitely an issue that both Mrs. Stix and I had in the first closed beta, and I feel like that's still kind of here a little bit. They have definitely diversified since they've altered the characters to give them more personality, more flair, more depth, and it is working. The characters look better than they ever have. The characters look more full of life, more full of personality than before. There's so much more to do. Back in the first closed beta, you kind of just like waddled around from hub A to hub B pursuing the story, which was admittedly very bad and is probably the reason why they overhauled 90% of it, or I think that's what they're claiming. Now you can't go like 60 seconds without seeing something that distracts you, that warrants your exploration, that warrants your attention. I think that is great. I think that gives you motivation to explore. There's nothing worse than having an enormous open world game and then nothing to do in it. So I got to experience not only dozens of chests, dozens of different puzzle types, but also numerous different mini games. The amount of content diversity that is now present gives me high hopes for when the game releases, retaining player attention, because I know that is definitely going to be an issue. That was an issue in Tower of Fantasy. When you hit a certain level or you hit a certain point through the game, they gated it. You need to wait 87 hours to open this ball on the ground, to open this chest. And there was no way you were going to remember to go back to, that random ball atop a mountain somewhere in 87 hours. There is plenty to do now in Wuthering Waves. A lot of diversity in terms of content. The story has been improved. I can't say how much yet. We'll know more when either they fully dub the game and we get to see it all fully voice acted, or when the game releases. Mrs. Stix has been reading and watching all of the cutscenes. She said the story has improved. I don't think we can really gauge by what margin at present, because comparatively, we've played for 7 hours. So we can't expect the story to be overwhelmingly good, enthralling. The character stories are, so far, we've only actually managed to play through one character story, but very interesting. The cinematics, by the way, oh my god, like, I feel like the cinematics before were already very impressive, but they are a whole other caliber now. It is unbelievable how impressive these cutscenes are. I would argue that they are the best cutscenes in terms of fluidity, animation, and quality of any gacha game that I have played up until this point. They are absolutely flawless. Now, that isn't to say all the cutscenes are going to be that way. That isn't to say that the normal scenes are going to be that way, but the official, cinematic cutscenes are mind-blowing, as has been a lot of the experience thus far. The reason I streamed for 7 hours is because I was just having a lot of fun. I don't typically stream for 7 hours. I stream for 3 hours. It has been a while since I wanted to continue streaming as long as I did, foregoing eating. And that is because I just genuinely had immense amounts of fun. The only issue that I have with the game right now is that co-op is locked for probably several more days, and it's going to take us literally an entire week to get to a point where we can successfully play alongside one another. I wish co-op was enabled at a lower level. Now, I know it's not going to be an issue for many people, but as someone who loves playing his video games with his wife, it does inhibit me a little bit from enjoying what could otherwise be enjoyed as a cooperative experience. Now, the multiplayer was an issue I had in the original beta, and I'm also very curious to see how much it inhibits you in this one in terms of progression and in terms of what you can do alongside the other player. If it's going to be like Genshin, you can't really do anything other than doing like the world bosses and maybe resource generation out in the world. That was just a very minor thing I had an issue with, though. Outside of that, everything has been immensely enjoyable, and I kind of express in words how much fun I've been having and how much fun I'm going to continue having over the course of the next week, as I will be, again, streaming this theoretically every single day. And I would love to have you guys there as we continue this journey through it, continue dozens of hours into it, and get a full gauge of how good the game is now, whether they made sufficient improvements to the game to truly compete with every other gacha game in the genre, and whether or not this will be a resounding success or potential failure. Now, if you want to join me, you can over on Twitch or here on YouTube every day, as I will be simultaneously streaming. I would love to have you there. But if Wuthering Waves is not a gacha game you're at all interested, absolutely no problem, because I have you covered with 2 different videos on screen right now that might be of more interest to you.